All eyes were on Europe overnight as investors contemplated the likely outcome of a European Union summit to be held later in the week. Investors apparently are not particularly confident, as overnight we saw equity markets tumble, as well as bond yields in terms of Spanish and Italian bonds spike upwards significantly. Looking at Spain, overnight the Spanish government formally asked for rescue funds to bail out its ailing banking system to the tune of around €100 million. And at the same time, a number of ratings agencies started contemplating significant downgrades of those same Spanish banks. And across the EU, Cyprus is the fifth Eurozone country to have its hand out for bailout money. Apparently this is driven by its significant exposure to the ailing Greek economy. So looking at the markets then, equity markets, as I said, were sharply down. The Dow down and most European indices down between 1 and 2%. In terms of currency, it's a similar story, the flight to safety. The Kiwi was down significantly against the US and the yen, but was actually holding relatively steady against the pound, the euro and the Aussie. Last week, the Australian Bureau for Agricultural Research and Economic Science released its updated forecast for the 2013 year. Abbott predicts that most agricultural commodity prices will fall, with the exception of three: sheep, lamb and, surprisingly, rock lobster. Looking at lamb and sheep for a moment, Abbott expects the Australian lamb kill in 2013 to increase by around 4.5% to 19.6 million head in 2013. In terms of sheep, a much more surprising story. They are expecting slaughter there to increase by around 23.6% to around 6.4 million head. The primary driver is effectively knocking over old ewes who are actually at the moment being used to prop up the breeding stock. With these significant increases, Abbott though believes that the actual demand will continue to outstrip supply. Why? Primarily driven by demand coming out of Qatar, Jordan and China, and probably most surprisingly by a resurgence in demand from the United States. With these rosy forecasts, New Zealand's sheep farmers will be wondering how they can get a piece of the action too.